Hi, Amy Thornton here. I wanted to talk about how important it is as an empath to have a safe and comfortable space to retreat to. And that means being really intentional about your home. So for me, as a feng shui practitioner, my apartment is completely feng shuied. And what feng shui means is wind and water. And so it's actually all about flow and energy and balancing the elements that are coming into play. So what that means is having a proper amount of space in between my pieces of furniture, not having too much furniture, not creating a heavy room. For me, having an element of nature inside is really important to me. Having a balance of colors is also really important to me. So, feng shui itself is specific. There's a lot of rules, there's a lot of ideas that you can follow. You can definitely do your own research. There are a lot of different schools of feng shui. So, there's some really basic methods where you can divide your house up into 9 different areas and create some space intentionally with symbols. I'm not a huge fan of using symbols from another culture that aren't meaningful to you. I'm not saying that you can't use other cultural symbols, but there's ones where like I bought this little money toad. You've probably seen it. It's like a little kind of brass toad with a coin in its mouth, and a lot of businesses will have that kind of facing out to bring money into their business. And while that is an important Chinese symbol, for me, it doesn't mean anything. I know what it means because I've studied it, but when I look at it, I don't think like, that's going to bring me money, right? So I would much rather use something that to me symbolizes money. So I'm really intentional about creating a space that is high vibration and doesn't have that has a really good flow to it, but also I have put my time and energy into to creating it how I want to. I find that a lot of people's spaces are just kind of slapped together. Their pictures are all different heights. They have art that maybe doesn't resonate with them because they've had it since college. They have things that people gave them. So Marie Kondo's show became very popular, and so everyone was Kondo Marieing their stuff, which is great. And definitely clutter can cause a stagnation of energy, which is stressful to our system. But you also need to understand that we often accumulate clutter because it's heavy, it's weighty, and when we are not grounded, it makes us feel grounded. So especially as an empath, because you are so sensitive, when you get rid of a lot of clutter, you might feel really ungrounded because you have been probably subconsciously using that clutter to make you feel safe and to make you feel grounded. It's similar to how empaths accumulate weight on their body. We accumulate weight because it is a protective layer against the constant stimulation from the outside. So when I think about my home, I think I want this to be a respite from the outdoors, from other people's energy, and I want it to feel good. So even just this idea of intentionally creating the space, even if you don't understand feng shui or anything, can be really important. Um, and then, you could hire a feng shui practitioner or someone else in your area and have them come in, because having somebody come in from the outside can actually help you see the things that you don't see because we get so used to having the stuff around. And that can really be a healing process. And when you put that time and effort into creating that space and creating a sanctuary for yourself, then your stress levels drop. Like when I walk into my home, aside from my cute little kitty greeting me, right, my stress goes down because I have intentionally created a space that feels good to me and is peaceful. And there are a lot of ways to do that. Like I mentioned, the furniture and the images that are around you. So I just want to point that out as something that is really important. Also, your workspace, like even if you're in a cubicle, you can create something that really works for you. One of the things I also do is I use crystals or rocks or stones or whatever you want to call them to grid my space. And so in each corner of my home, I have a semi-large, not very large crystal that is blocking outside forces from coming in. And that's my intention, plus what the stones themselves do. But you can use any stone, it doesn't really matter, or you can match them up with the directions. And there's a whole world of that out there. But I think the most important thing is that you're using your intention to create your reality. And so you are saying, I am putting these things down to create a barrier from the outside world. So leave me any questions in the comments and I will try to answer them. And I hope that helps. Thanks.